And welcome to episode 3 of the Mauls, Balls and Odds breakdown. Tonight we are joined again by Dave Sheedy, and also Richard Holland is here with us. Since we have all Munster men at the moment, I suppose we'll start off with Munster, Castles versus Munster. Richard, did you see the match or anything?
Only highlights. I was on nights on Friday night.
Yeah.
I don't know if you call them highlights or lowlights. From what I seen, they kind of bet themselves. They were poor. Were there 4 major injuries I think they picked up? Abrahamson, he's dislocated shoulder. I was reading Casey tore the meniscus, so that's 10, 12 weeks minimum before he's back. So we're well into the Six Nations before Casey's back. But look, we bet ourselves. It's not that the other crowd bet us. We bet ourselves. It's as simple as that. We were poor from 1 to 15. To be honest with you, we butchered. I don't know how many chances we butchered. Crowley didn't have his best game, but look, he's young. He'll learn from it. I would rather see him make mistakes and learn from him than anything else. But look, it is what it is. We lost and we'll move on. But look, we come out there with a losing bonus point as well. I imagine if you were to ask a lot of Munster supporters, would you rather take a losing bonus point over there or come over with nothing? They said I'd rather take the losing bonus point.
Yeah. Funny enough, Richard, you said that Munster beat Munster in that game. Castles had 3 yellow cards. They missed a penalty and 2 conversions, right? You kind of expect teams to take advantage of those situations, though, when they have the extra men, or maybe extra 2 men or whatever. And still Castles left 7 points behind them.
Yeah.
So, is that a case of Munster? That literally sounds like Munster's downfall was caused by them, not the fact that they were.
The extra man seems to be a problem for Munster when the other team goes down to 14. It's been ongoing. It's not the first time this season that it's happened where they don't seem to know how to utilise the extra man for the 10 minutes or whatever it happens is going to be. But I don't know how you fix that. I'll be quite honest with you. It's worrying. I will say that.
Question for you, Richard. Do you think Munster play better when they're a man down compared to a man up?
That's the thing. They actually do, and that's the weird thing about it. It doesn't really make sense, but it doesn't really make sense. But yeah, they actually play better when they're the player down to 14.
Yeah. Just want to say a quick note to Christopher Goff and Catherine Keegan as well, just popping up. Dave Sheedy, your thoughts on the Munster Castles match?
Jeez, lads, where do you begin? Like,
somewhere.
Massive, yeah, I know. It's a cacophony of errors. We have to respect that we were against the second string team last week, and maybe their discipline and their second string made us look good because all the problems that we've seen all season were in that Cast game. Every single one of them, if not more. Like Crowley, people will forgive him, and we have to, but he should have got that last touch. You know what I mean? Like, we crucified Billy Burns doing that for Ireland, and it's just it has to be down to coaching. It has to be because, like as Richard pointed out, fair enough with a few injuries, but 3 yellow cards. Their kicker wasn't kicking out, and like we could have easily taken that game. And I remember I was sitting here with the old lad watching it, and I was thinking on the 72nd or 73rd minute, we were in the 22, and I was just thinking to myself, now is the time to take a drop goal. Take the drop goal. And they just didn't do it. There seems to be this attitude of, it's cup rugby. Everyone knows cup rugby. Take the points. Yeah? Take the points that are on offer. Munster just seemed we're going down the line. And it just seems that there's still an influence of Peter O'Mahony there because, like, look, he's a great player. But he has this hard man attitude that sometimes there's no rugby smarts. It's just we'll put it to him. How many times have Munster gone down the line now in the last couple of games and been turned over?
Given that our line was malfunctioning anyway.
Do you think?
It can do, yeah. I mean,
I thought
not
it was
as bad
good
as
against
not
Stad.
as
I
bad
didn't
as-
think it was amazing against
was-
Cass,
it-
but it was solid
Now it's
enough.
better. Now I'll grant you that it's better than the Leinster one, but if you look, Munster rarely go to the back anymore. It's either front or middle ball and then secure. That's the way
Yeah.
they play.
Well, I don't think we have the power to maul anymore, Richie. Like, I mean,
Well,
our game was always like line out maul. It was something that Munster was traditional for. And now we just don't have the power, and that could be down to S&C.
Well, our pack is probably the lightest of the 4 provinces. I'll be honest with
It
you.
was heavier than Castam.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
10, I remember we brought up it was
Then they
10
should be able to
kg
get. Yeah.
And like the
Just
only
don't
line
have-
breaks, I saw for the whole game from Munster was John Hogden, and he got 2
And he got
fucking
2
great
tries.
He got 2 tries out of it. Yeah.
I'm
He's like-
sure if we were to look at line breaks, he's the only one that broke the line because they just
he's
look
actually,
clueless to the attack.
He's having a great season, Hodnett.
He really is. Yeah. I just
Actually, there's a good point there
Go
by
on.
Peter. Munster have an awful habit of playing well one week, and then it all goes tits up the next week. No consistency. It's like we were caught it last season.
yeah, but like I mean, we've seen that in previous seasons before where
Yeah.
you know, how many times have you seen a Munster go to France and they'll either do the most amazing result on the planet or they'll lose the game themselves. And we've seen that like 10, 15 years ago. And then, but the old style of the competition, you knew you were getting the lads at home and you could really send it home to them now. You could really beat them. But like, I mean, we don't have the setup for that anymore. Like, I think the main issue I have is the coaching. Like, we've a very relatively inexperienced Dennis Leamy. He's not an experienced defensive coach, albeit the defense is not too bad. But the attack, I was saying in a private message to Pierre after the game, I really want to go and look at some of the old Racing games now to see what Mike Prendergast's attack was like, because it's not doing it. They're all bunched up in one side of the field, backs and forwards, and they might leave a fullback and a winger out in the distance, and then it's one of those long looping passes that'll probably get intercepted. It's just the attack is not there, and if they appoint Mike Prendergast as the head coach, I'm going to be very worried because we can already see signs of kind of like something not working and the top brass sticking with it, like what they did with Van Graan for 6 years.
Yeah. Here's a question for you, Mike. Dave, sorry. Was Prendergast's attacking style more suited to Racing than it is to Munster? And the
Possibly.
players-
Yeah, possibly because they play a much more open style in France. You look at any of the top 14.
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to see a bit of it when I was in France in September, and it's just everything's off the cuff. It's brilliant, but we don't have that here. I mean, the Irish team doesn't even have it because they're very structured, albeit they had the best attack for the last 2 years. But it's the way everyone's bunched up in one side of the field, and then it's just hands. There's no kind of running lines coming in like you see with Aki or Henshaw Ringrose or these. You know, I'm very worried about that attack, and I've said it for a while. And the worst I saw was against Leinster and Croke Park because I was up high and I was able to see the whole pitch with it. The attack is not doing it for me, lads.
But do we need a Simon Zebo kind of like character, Joe? The one that can just kind of make that line break, that moment.
Yeah, but I think we have him. But he got injured at the weekend in Abrahams. And he's got serious pace, man. And then there's young McCarthy as well. But we need pacey wingers. Like when I saw Haley being picked, and Gleeson played well until he got injured, but I kind of felt the team selection was a weakened Munster side to the team we put out the week before. You know, I mean, Ben O'Connor's there. There's Shane Daly. Like, I mean, these lads are younger, fitter, and quicker than Mike Haley. Albeit Haley is great going forward, and he is. There's no denying that. But I always had questions over his defense.
Richard, one for you here now, and this one's comes in from Peter. He's working the page. Tom is the only successful line-out operator Munster and Ireland have at the moment. Do you think that's right?
Yeah. Now the line out is subjective because it's going to depend on the call. Confusion, but the hooker has a lot to do with it. You know, if the hooker can't find his man, what's the fucking point of jumping? Which has happened this year a lot for Ireland for whatever reason. But yeah, look, The thing about O'Mahony is normally you have two jumpers in the lineup. You're going to have your two locks. O'Mahony offers you that third option. With those, it drops a little bit of doubt into the opposition as to where they're going. Is it going to 4, 5, or 6? You know, and it makes it harder to cover. So you have to pick as soon as that before the ball is thrown. You have to pick which lad you're going to throw up. And if that's wrong, it's either gone over him or it's in front of him. And so that third line-out option is a big thing in rugby. And Munster do it because Peter O'Mahony is such a good line-out operator.
Yeah.
But that Ty Byrne hasn't been as involved in the lineouts in the last.
No, and he was actually good last season. He was very good.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He was amazing at stealing ball and Everton, but he's not. He doesn't seem to be there this season. He's not getting over the turnovers he used to as well.
I think he's fucking knackered. He's after playing a lot of rugby. I'll be honest with you. I think he's tired.
Yeah. And I know myself. I've had a very busy 2 weeks myself, and to be honest with you, last Friday I was absolutely fucking drained myself from bits and pieces, from work and stuff here at home and stuff like that. So Ty Byrne is probably more or less the same way himself.
Yeah, but in fairness, though, Danny, it's halfway through the season. He can't be knackered. You know what I mean? They train 3-4 times a week, and then they play a match at the weekend. Everyone else is sitting down in video analysis in gym. We'd all do that, given the money as well. So
that's true. Yeah.
Now, here's another good one as well, and I'll go to you first, Dave. The Ireland team doesn't have an attack. We rely too much off our set piece. That's one part of the question.
Sure.
Second part is, do you think the way Munster are trying to play and Ireland are trying to play, do you think there's a kind of a disjointment between both sides and players are trying to say, right, okay, this is what we're doing with Ireland, this is what we're doing with Munster, and there's no real kind of gelling, if you know what I mean?
Yeah, but there's only 2 backs from Munster in the Ireland team, so it's a completely different game plan from what I see. The Ireland attack is based mainly on the Leinster attack under Lancaster, which, as we all know, was sublime for years. Whereas the Munster attack seems to be just finding his feet. We have 2 relatively new partnership in our centres, and then our back three seems to change every week. There's no consistency in selection, so it's hard to get lads to gel as well, And now we've more fecking injuries, It's just we're getting crucified, man. I don't know what's going to change, but I'm not. Look, and Munster have always been a forward-orientated team. That has been much with the backs, but we need better back play because everyone's just, as I said, bunched up in the corner, and it's not going anywhere.
Just when you were saying about the back three, they signed Tom Farrell. I think he's a great signing, but they're playing him on the wing. He's not a winger. He's a centre.
Tom Farrell. When did they play him on the wing?
They played him the first couple of matches in the URC. They played him out on the wing.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Maybe
they didn't have an option. But he's not a winger. He doesn't
have the pace, but he's a great second centre. Him and Nankerville should be doing really, really good things. But just it's the old thing, lads. Forwards win your game back determined by how much, and the forwards just got absolutely. Kilcoyne. Look, we all love Killer, but his time is up, lads. He can't scrum. He can't scrum to save his life. How many penalties did he give away alone? Must have been about 5 or 6 scrum penalties. It was just, it's heartbreaking,
Yeah. One final question. I go to Richard first in this one. The Munster injury list is expanding a bit too rapidly and a bit too quickly in terms of players going out injured and coming back in. Is that going to have a bigger effect now over the next, let's say, 8 weeks or so, lead up to Six Nations?
I think it will. If nothing, just for players that will be involved with the Irish team is sharpness. Casey, he might be back for the Italian game if everything goes to plan.
Yeah.
I think did I hear that O'Mahony went off injured as well? There's another.
I think he's a niggle.
Yeah. Nankerville went off, or Abrahams went off with looks like a dislocated shoulder.
Yeah.
That's the new year as well. There's an awful lot of injuries there. Now I know we got the likes of Ollie Jaeger and them, that they're back, but I don't know. It's a big worry because we came in bare bones into this season and we're still losing players. You know, it's going to be calling a lot more in the academy players, and it's good to get them exposure. But I don't think playing 5, 6, 7, 8 games like that and getting fucking absolutely hammered is good for the confidence of the youth of the academy players either.
Yeah, because you want them to learn in the best positive way as well.
Yeah,
Getting your feet under.
A good defeat does, you learn that, but if it's 5 or 6 defeats and you're going, fuck's sake, and your confidence is down, and you know it can actually damage your development in a lot of ways.
Yeah, too much. Next one to bring up as well is Ulster versus Bordeaux. Bordeaux winning that 40 points to 19, but Ulster were ahead 19-14 at half time.
Yeah.
Richard, you see the game?
I remember a couple of years ago, Ulster were playing Leinster and the same thing happened. They didn't score in the second half and they just got absolutely. And I think Leinster had a player sent off and they still came back and bet them. Look, Ulster just didn't come out again. We've said it before about them. They can go in at half time up and just not come out in the second half, and they just I don't know what happens. And it's not. That's not coaching. It's just they don't come out and they don't perform. Whatever the fuck happens, it's disappointing for them. They should be kicking themselves about it. I'll be honest with you. Now I heard lads giving out about Henderson. The first thing he done when he came on was give away a penalty, which is But he has a habit of doing that too. I was at the Argentina game. I think it was one of the games anyway, and he came on. The first thing he done was give away a penalty. So you know.
Yeah. Dave, do you see the match at all?
The only thing I saw was people's comments, unfortunately. Just the usual Ulster supporters, you know, that know their rugby, and they seem to have the same complaints over and over again. It seems to be a thing in Ulster and Munster now, really, doesn't it? It's the same complaints and the same comments, like, you know, Connacht are happy-go-lucky nearly at this stage. But really bad results in the end. I hope the scoreline didn't reflect the actual match, but it seems like if you're to take scoreline, Bordeaux hammered them, like, you know.
Funny enough, Dave, I was talking to David Lear. He's a member in the group, and he's an Ulster supporter as well. I jokingly said to him, Joe, he said he didn't want to be an Ulster supporter anymore, jokingly. And I said, support Munster. It's like supporting Ulster, except with slightly better weather.
I don't know about that.
Maybe down in Kerry. Every time I go to West Bay, you're getting through Limerick.
But here's a good one now, right? Here's a good one now. Bordeaux had 4 yellow cards in that game. 3 of those yellow cards were in the space of 5 minutes in the second half.
Are you serious?
Oh,
yeah,
no.
they were down to 12 men at one stage.
And Ulster couldn't capitalise.
Yeah, Ulster had full complement 15.
So there we
go.
That's the same.
How damaging is that to a team's confidence when you're 3 men up and you still can't score? Now, this is in the second half. This is in the second half now. Yeah. So how bad is that?
If that was my team and I was playing, I'd have the feeling like, can we do anything right? I mean, if you're like that, that's unbelievable, man. You know?
Yeah. So they had a very good, very, very good patch where they had, I think, was it something like 7 or 8 minutes where they had the 3-man advantage. Something like the region of 7 minutes.
3-man advantage, and they couldn't just put it through their hands and get over.
Yeah. Yeah. And, when you have that much extra space.
But this is the problem. It seems that there seems to be a lack of proper rugby smarts and leadership across all 4 provinces, man. It really does, like, you know. It's very worrying, because, like, teams of 10 years ago, like, I mean, you 3-man extra, you'd fucking annihilate them. You'd be scoring every kickoff nearly. Just
you'd be hoping to blitz in 3 or 4 tries, like.
Yeah, exactly. Man, you know, at least. And Ulster still lost that amount. Fucking hell.
Yeah, and didn't score in that second half, even with the 3-man advantage for that period of time.
That's
I mean, like, sorry, I'm sorry, if I was that head coach, I would be looking at my offensive attack coach, and I would be fucking and blinding left, right, and fucking center.
Yeah,
You
man,
can't
jeez.
just situation like that.
And we can't say Richie Murphy doesn't know what he's doing because he's proved
because
he's proved it a couple of times with the under 20s. So
I'd be taking the paint off the walls if I was Richie Murphy over that.
yeah, man.
I just putting it mildly.
Yeah, that's like honestly, I didn't realize that happened in the second half, and they didn't score. Like that is abysmal at this level. Absolutely abysmal. Like an AIL team would do better.
They had at least 5 minutes against 3 players. You know, with the other crowd, 3 players.
At least.
Jeez, man. And I thought things were bad in Munster.
That's actually kind of worrying. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I said no. One comment here from Mike Sheehy. Sorry, Dave. I know you and Mike Sheehy are members in the group. I get your names mixed up sometimes. So if I call you Mike,
not Sheehy. Sheehy is a Kerry name.
Sorry. You have to culture accent now, man. Get over it. Is it Munster had a bad day, but Casey injury was bad. Also severely injured. Injuries in round 2. They took out our players in front of ref, and TMO linesman got away with like round 1 of European Championship Cup. Dangerous play. Again, have watched 2 games a few times. It's on video. Something going on with Munster on Friday night. He's not exactly wrong though.
Do you know what? I forgot to mention. Cast were offside all day. No one said that. They were literally offside all day. They got pinged for about 5 times. Sorry, go on, Danny.
Joe Lyons here. French teams train to play 13 versus 15. So dropping players simply reverts them to a league setup of holding. If you look at the style of play with the French teams, when this happens and points scored, it's clear as day, yet coaches seem to be incapable of playing space and lashing the ball around.
Well, playing against a team that's down 2, 3 players, if you can get quick ball from the scrum half and get it out and get it moving, there will be gaps. There has to be.
Isn't that what the Ulster supporters were giving out about the Doak was too slow?
That's the thing, and that's the thing. Like, it's like he's injured. He done his hamstring in the round before.
Did he?
Yeah. Actually, here's a question for now. Some Ulster supporters around various social media sites, they're saying that Ulster are getting shafted by the IRFU. Richard, do you think there's any truth to that, though?
Well,
or does Ulster are at great strength at the moment?
You can argue if Ulster are, we are too. Munster are too.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily lend credence to that. I'll be honest with you. I think Ulster's problems have been there for quite a long time in the fact that they don't seem to be developing players the way they should. We can hold our hand up too. The fact that the Leinster Academy is, in my opinion, the best academy in the world for turning our players. Whatever they're doing, I don't know, but they're doing it right. We, unfortunately, were late to the game. I don't think we were 6 or 7 years behind setting up an academy compared to Leinster. I don't know what the situation is with Ulster, but they don't seem to be turning out players, and I think therein lies the problem.
Yeah.
I kind of like Richie. I don't buy into it, but then when you see the likes of Leinster getting Steinman and Jordy Barrett, and by the way, Jordy Barrett has completely revolutionised that back line. You know, I saw snippets of what he was doing, but we'll get to that later. You know, you can understand why people are disgruntled, but then again, you know, Leinster have the money because a majority of their players are centrally contracted. So, like, academy-wise, we're seeing players from the academy coming through now over the last couple of years, and I for some sneaking suspicion, think they don't have the rugby win at all costs mentality. And I use Munster and Ulster with that because, like, these teams were great AIL teams, you know. the players that came down from the different clubs in Munster and Ulster, and I just don't think it's there. I don't think that winning mentality is there, and there has to be a lot on the players, and there has to be a lot on the coaching staff as well. You know, I don't buy into this money scenario. I mean, they got Stephen Kitsoff, and he did fucking nothing, like absolutely nothing.
He asked to leave. He was 2 years left in his contract, and he says, "I want out. I want to go back."
Yeah.
So it could be the atmosphere, you know. You don't know.
Yeah.
Well, it could be something there as well. Yeah, you don't know. But then the likes of Pinar was he fucking loved it there. He didn't want to leave.
Yeah. He was forced to leave. Exactly. You know, it's just, I think that's a player mentality as well. Some imports just buy into the club at all costs, like we saw with Doug Howlett and Sean Payne and Munster and all. And then other lads are just there like for a paycheck, like Kitsoff, like De Villiers and Munster and other lads. They come for
Mullen.
For Mullen, yeah.
You see, we have one here by Burke anyway. The reality is Leinster have a great setup for bringing in new players with the schooling system and their academy. All 4 provinces get the same funding from the IRFU. Leinster aren't to blame if you sign a marquee player like Kitsoff and he doesn't really do anything for you. So it's your own decision making that has let you down. You play your best players in each position in the national squad, and at the moment, they are predominantly Leinster players. 10, 15 years ago, it was Munster players as well. So, I mean, like,
did he copy and paste that from a comment he made earlier by any chance? Because I think I've seen that.
Probably right, yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
This 10, 15 years ago, it was Munster. Like, we just had the Munster players. We didn't have a conveyor belt coming through.
Yeah.
Like the way Leinster have, you know?
Without
how many...
It was just the perfect set of circumstances was 10 or 15 years ago, and we had the likes of Doug Howlett, but then we had the likes of John Hayes and Donnacha O'Callaghan and Paul O'Connell there as well.
Yeah, but my point is, how long did they soldier on for? You know, and then 10, 15 years ago, we weren't talking about this amazing Leinster schooling system. It's just Leinster have more schools, and the Leinster Senior Cup is one of the most hotly contested championships in probably rugby in Europe. You know, it's unbelievable. And always has been, exactly. So, you know, there's way more kind of population to choose from. I don't necessarily think it's the great system coming through the schools, but it's just, I think it's a population issue, and you're going to get more talented players coming through.
Well, you are right on the population issue. So what's the greater 1.1 million in Greater Dublin?
Yeah, you know, I mean, like. But I do know that Leinster sat down after, I think I heard someone saying it on a podcast, that Leinster sat down after Munster won in 2006 or 2008 and said, right, we need to restructure everything. And they did, and now it's working, and fair play to them.
Yeah, but do Ulster and Munster need to do something like that? Do they need to find a structure that suits them?
So we have the population for it as well, you know.
Forget population. It's about finding the best players we have. Do we go through the club system? Do we go through the school system? Do we combine both?
I would be in favour of AIL, because lads are battle hardened in the AIL. I just, you know, bring people into the academy for special training maybe. But, like, I mean, all these great players that we talk about with Munster and other teams all came from the AIL, lads. All came through. Went from the school to AIL, got battle hardened in AIL. They had older heads giving them wisdom left, right, and centre. And that wisdom is not there in the academies, I think.
Yeah, but even if...
I think Richard's frozen anyway.
I think he did. I think he's back in a second.
Frozen. I was like, no, we have James Grennan as well. Sorry, Richard, you froze there. What were you saying?
I was just saying, like, what's stopping the lads from, you know, like the lads that are in the academy, been released back to their Shannons or their Cork Cons and giving them game time there?
But this is it. Yeah, but we don't know this. I've never seen any kind of reporting on that at all from any of the journalists who are supposed to be in the know. So I don't know. I'd love to know what goes on in the academy training, and do they get sent back to their respective clubs? Excuse me.
Yeah.
You know?
So Michael, anyway, James Grennan surely coming in with some sort of shite dad joke there now at the moment. If Ulster and Munster fans are disgruntled, then I have to tell you, Connacht fans are the opposite, very gruntled at the moment. Top of our group with 2 bonus point wins in a row in the Challenge Cup. Yeah, Mickey Mouse Trophy. Joking, James, joking. Joe Lyons, instead of moaning, go develop or grow our own players. Look at Munster 10 years ago and the players coming through were limited. Now there is a lot of them in Ulster and a lot of schools, and the kids simply don't want to play or are interested in the game. So why cry on Leinster, who built from our system? For fuck's sake. So the 23 this Saturday, we had 19 Irish kids that went to the same school, only Gibson Park, Salme, Snyman and Barrett compared to any team in GP or even the other provinces who have way more than 4.
I can't actually, I can't argue with fucking Lindsay, man. He always makes good points, but
Yeah.
I don't think any of us are moaning.
Yeah,
No.
good.
The cards were. It's the way it is, and it's up to the top brass in Munster and Ulster to change it.
Now,
Yeah,
Figure out
so-
the system and
now
implement it.
there's something. Maybe that's where the change needs to be made.
Yeah.
Mm.
That was actually a question I was going to ask. Is it the people running the Munster and Ulster boards that's the problem?
Well, I've
Because
always
like-
had a problem. I've always had a problem with who was running Munster. I mean, Gareth Fitzgerald drove me fucking nuts, and now this other fella, Ian Flanagan's an absolute soccer moron. So with
Yeah.
Ulster, I don't know who runs the ship in Ulster.
Well, it
Was
was
it
Humphreys
Humphreys?
until
Was
he
Humphreys?
was.
Yeah, and I have no faith in him whatsoever either, man. I think he's a proven failure, Humphreys, when he went over to England, then back to Ulster. So
Yeah.
and now he's with
Here's-
Ireland.
Here's an interesting fact now. Ulster have been in a few finals, right? This is 2012 European Cup. I think they're in the 4-14 final before it changed to the URC. They haven't won a trophy since 05. There's been lots of changes in coaches. There's been a few managerial changes and stuff like that. Is there an attitude problem with Ulster that's causing a problem with coaches, a problem with players? Is it a case of there kind of a lot more battles on the inside rather than a united front? And could the same be said for Munster?
Yeah, well, we don't know the internal politics of either. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, we
Which
probably
problem?
never will, but you could be right on that one, Danny. That the
Yeah.
problem is internal.
Yeah, so it's a case of
Yeah,
like,
but internal problems since 2005.
yeah,
You know, I mean,
Uh,
the thing that sent it home for me a while ago, I was watching Ulster at home to Toulouse, and they were winning. And in typical Ulster fashion, they lost the second half and just turned like they were. I was watching the pub, I think it was 2 years ago or maybe more, in Ravenhill, and they got just murdered in the second half by their own mistakes, not by anything great Toulouse did, by their own mistakes. And it was a recurring thing then the season after as well. So
Yeah.
it's you have to think player mentality. You
it's a
have
big part of it.
big
but-
part of it, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but since
but
2005, the players have completely turned over since then. You know, so
Yeah.
Yeah,
what else is there?
but like, it seems to be a recurring thing with Ulster. Is it kind of more like the culture within the club, as a whole, or is this, it's just a combination of maybe not producing players and all the sorts of
It's
things.
hard.
I know it's hard to put the finger
Yeah, it's
on.
hard to put. Yeah, it is definitely hard to put your finger on. I mean, who was the last outstanding Ulster player that played for Ireland that you can remember?
Stephen Ferris, Rory Best. Rory Best.
Best.
All right, best
Yeah,
Stephen
you know,
Ferris, Jared
Yeah.
Payne.
Yeah.
Or Payne,
Yeah.
Payne, yeah.
Yeah, he didn't play
Not
much.
that- He didn't play much. Not that he was outstanding, but I thought he was.
Yeah, he's one of the better Ulster players.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's but like I mean, are we expecting too much from clubs as
Maybe.
well? Like I mean,
Yeah.
Leinster are at the high now. 10 years ago they weren't. Munster were at the high. Connacht went a full season and won the league, which we all loved and was
Yeah.
amazing. Like I mean, do we really need to reflect on who the teams are and where they actually fit in? Like it's like expecting Southampton to win the Premiership every year. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just that we're kind of setting our goals too high.
Yeah,
Maybe. Burn folks on that. The Ulster have what it takes to beat the big boys. Just have to keep the heads turned on.
Well, that was it. Like that's a couple of times now that I've seen them play that.
Yeah.
They just don't come out. They just don't come out with the sheds in the second half. They just
Yeah.
They're completely switched off and they come back out. Like
Leinster have been guilty of that as well, and
every team has.
So it has like I mean, if you go in with a game plan in the first half, you implement it, and then the second half you don't implement it. Has to be the players, man. Has to be the fucking players.
Yeah, because sometimes you see a team and you want the referee to blow the halftime whistle. The sides just change halves very quickly in the space of a minute, and then just start the second half again.
Yeah.
So just keep the momentum going, because sometimes that 10-15 minutes and the players kind of go, we haven't started. Nothing more to do.
You're going in and you're 10 or 12 points up and you go, all right, lads, it's in the bag. It's very hard to switch that back on when things start going against you.
Yeah. I said, now, Peter Burke here as well. Ulster Rugby, together with the IRFU, are pleased to confirm that CEO Hugh McCaughey will remain in post until the end of 2025.
So that's who took over Humphrey's job then.
I suppose so, yeah. That's the chief executive officer anyway.
So he's the top brass. Like, I mean, it's very easy for everyone to just start pointing fingers and say, "Oh, it's Richie Murphy, it's your man Hugh McCaughey, it's this, that, and the other." But at the end of the day, none of these guys play on the field.
Yeah,
the lads on the field have a fucking responsibility, and they're getting paid enough to do it.
So
especially like Ulster, like with 4 yellow cards in Bordeaux, and they couldn't win that game.
Oh, I'd be sickened.
You can't blame the coach for that. You can't blame the CEO. You can't blame Leinster for not sending up players. You can't blame money, this, that, and the other. I mean, all this business of money. Does money actually make a player better? Really, honestly and truly. Like, will a guy play better if he's getting 300 grand a year, or we'll give you 400? Oh, I'll play better. No, it's in here.
Yeah.
It's the want and the will to play. I played, and Richie and Danny, we all played for nothing. We played for the love of it, and we gave it 100%. Fair enough, 1 or 2 days you were like, oh, jeez, I'm hungover, I'm not arsed. And you might have a bad game, but
Sorry, did you have the odd day?
You know what I mean? The odd day,
hey, a lot of things, but snowboard and rugby field wasn't one of them. I did my best rugby with a hangover or drunk.
That's because you didn't feel the pain.
It's not only that. It's just when I played with a hangover, I didn't have to think. The brain just switched off. The body didn't work.
Yeah, it's just catch and run. Yeah.
Catch and run, rock, lift. There you go.
I know. I would have been more like Hulk in the Avengers. Hulk smash.
Joe Lyons in again. The system and the game at all levels is critical, and we all have purple patches. People need to learn that when they are in the shite phase, that it eventually turns. Christ, I remember Ulster in the 80s, and when did 9 odd players, and it was like 1 or 2 from the others Munster in the early 90s. It's only in the last decade that it's Leinster, which is true.
Yeah, and it will turn again. It doesn't matter how many millions you pump into Leinster, they're going to have a downturn as well. And we thought there with Lancaster going, you might say, well, you have seen it. It's not that you might, but they haven't gotten vastly inferior. They've just dropped a little bit. You know, with Niambar. I think.
Yeah. But as you said, it's when Bordeaux were down to 12 men. That's nothing to do with the coaches. It's
That's the players.
It's the players out in the field that have to take advantage of that.
Yeah. But you don't need to be coached that. Everyone knows there's an overlap. Fucking go for it.
Yeah.
There's a big gap there. Fucking plow through it.
Yeah, they've 3 men off the field. Like everyone, your captain should be going, lads, keep these fat fuckers tight, and you start running out there and get the ball out to them quick. Try. Everyone, you don't need coaching for that.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of Lancaster and Ninnibar, Leinster beat Claremont 15-7, right? 12-7 Leinster at half time. Pendergast was the only penalty of second half, the only score after you met a yellow card. Dave, did you see the match?
I saw the highlights, and I didn't have time. I wanted to actually watch the full game in case Berkey was giving me a call to come on here. But the first half seemed, as I said, I only saw 10-minute highlights. The first half seemed really good. Kills me to say it, but I have to say I thought Sam Prendergast was really, really good in the first half. He looked sharp. He looked good. He was delivering the ball well. People were saying about the line-out, but I wasn't shown any much of the line-out. They lost 10.
Yeah, 10 off
I saw 2 line-outs in those highlights, and I was like, doesn't look too bad. So I will go back and watch the game myself, just to get a perspective of players. But I mean, there we have another example of players doing well in the first half and not coming out in the second half,
Yeah.
Second half sounded like a ball fest, and then I'm judging a lot of it on the comments I saw in the group as well. So, but look, Jordy Barrett, man, is just
he's different gravy, isn't he?
He's totally different, man. Like Jordy Barrett is just like, when I see Jordy Barrett playing for like the All Blacks, you're kind of sitting there going, who's the best Barrett? And it's always both. But Jordy Barrett, man, I really get to see what he's like now with Leinster, because he's just so far superior, I think, than anyone in that back line. And we have Henshaw, Ringrose. I mean, I'm not going to use Sam Prendergast's name yet because he's still a little green, but and Keenan and these, and Jordy Barrett, the lines he's running, the way he's shrugging off tackles and everything, it's just unbelievable. It's beautiful to watch. Like, prick.
Yeah, but even his offload, he seems to be able to get that extra half second.
Yeah, man. But that's... I watched an interview with Doug Howlett there with Donegal Callaghan and Tommy Bowe, and he said it's the simple things done well over and over and over and over again. And this seems to be All Black rugby. And Jordy Barrett does it as well as anyone, because he's truly shining with Leinster. He really is.
Funny enough, I actually only saw bits and pieces of the second half of the Leinster game. And from what I saw, Joe, it was a bad enough match. I didn't see any highlights of the first half. Even though a lot of people saying the first half was great, from what I heard, but I haven't seen anything of it. Richard, did you see much of the match? Or
I seen the first 60, and that's what you said is more or less exactly what happened. It was a passable first half. It wasn't great, but second half it was everything was slow. It was poor. The line out was malfunctioning, and they were trying the long. They were going to the back of the line out every time, and the first couple of times or 3 or 4 times that doesn't happen. You just give up on it and you go to the middle or go to the front and just secure a ball and you don't make it. That's the only way you can do it.
But did the line out improve when the other hooker came on, Richie?
No. That's the thing about it. It actually did. I think when he came on, I think he threw 3 or 4 himself.
Yeah.
So
Jesus.
Now, that being said, the other crowd, they were well up for it. They went after every ball at the breakdown. Every ball they were in after.
And but you'd expect that from Claremont.
Yeah,
that slows Leinster down, I suppose. So that doesn't let them play their normal expansive game if they're constantly getting foul ball off the back of it,
Yeah, but Richard, one thing I was told as a forward was when you're playing the game, you get the first 2 or 3 lineouts. You either go to the front or the middle, and you keep it simple, and you build on that. Then, no. If you're having a bad day, just keep it simple.
Yeah, just
keep it simple.
I understand why they're wanting to go to the back, because the back,
Yeah.
if you go to the back, it unlocks the back line quicker. That's why they're wanting
Yeah.
to do it. I do understand what they're wanting to do, but if your line out was misfiring, just secure ball and be done with it.
Yeah, and then you build from there.
But
Then you
should,
get
yeah,
more
exactly.
complicated stuff when the confidence starts going. I think that's
Yeah.
what they're forgetting as well.
yeah,
Yeah,
but like
exactly,
I mean,
yeah.
we expect that with a line out if you're playing like junior rugby or schoolboys or something like that. Okay,
Yeah.
2 and 4, keep it simple. 6 and 8 isn't working. The lads are
Yeah.
or they're getting people up, but like I mean, at the professional level, they should be able to throw to 6, get at 6, and set up a maul or off the top or something, and they should be at all times. Now,
No,
fair
it was
enough.
quite windy there. No, it was windy there, but I don't know if it was windy enough to affect turning over 10 line-out balls.
Yeah, that's the other thing as well. You see, I mean, like, fair enough. I know there's a difference in terms of what's simple for junior rugby, schools rugby, and professional rugby. But you keep it simple enough for the team
Yeah,
to operate,
yeah,
that they can build on it. Even if it's just straight to the first line out, or let's say, Richard, did you say you had some special call for the very front of the line out where the proper you
Yeah.
turn around and catch the ball? Something
It
simple like that.
was condom ball. That was the call. Because we had it covered.
Oh, do you know what the last thing was when I played? Every team when they call, because I played with Mary's here in Dublin, every team when they called that we played against called Munster ball, it was a maul, and it's like, how shit is your call? Munster ball. Oh, they're gonna maul it again.
Yeah.
And I mean every team I played against, Active, Belvedere, everyone, they Munster ball. It was a maul. It's just so easy to read.
Yeah.
Our condom ball was a good one, though.
But like, are we looking at other lineouts as well? Like, how's the Ulster lineout? How's the Munster lineout? How's the Connacht lineout?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
for me, the problem seems to be the throw. And I said that in comments earlier. I think Kelleher's he's great for everyone else. He's great for scrummaging in the loose, yada yada yada. But he's not a good lineout thrower, man. He kind of lobs the ball instead of like a fucking dart.
Leinster are missing Sheehan. We know that.
But that's what I mean. Sheehan is the better lineout thrower, and the lineout seems to function when Sheehan's on, and the Irish lineout was functioning when Herring came on. So is it the throw? Is it the lift? Is it the call?
It's the mechanics.
It's
not misfiring anything. Something's wrong somewhere.
Can't say it's not the lift because of the strength of Porter.
Yeah.
Or whoever else. Like the lads are fairly strong at lifting. They get the lads up quick. So I don't know.
It must be timing issue.
There's Joe now. Weather was crap, heavy drizzle, and it was windy as fuck. So there you go.
Let's go because obviously trying to line out, no matter where you fucking play. Burke here again. Leinster had a good first 40. That's it. Line out was arse. We need to get that sorted. Sam had a great game, and Georgie was spectacular. The young lads will learn so much from him. I was at it, and the only issue I had was I was fucking freezing. But overall, it wasn't a great game. Yeah, I don't remember Peter saying he's going to the Claremont game. I don't think he posted anything about that.
I saw a post.
No, he didn't. I don't think he mentioned anything about that.
No, next thing he'll tell us he had a press pass or something like that,
Oh yeah,
it looked like he was up. He looked like he was up there, lads. I'm not going to say he put up a picture. Looked like he was up there.
Joe Lyons again. Liner was all over the place as wind was blowing a storm and Claremont contesting every line out with huge locks. All we could have done was put to front and retain. Throwing long on a windy day was fucking stupid. Yeah.
100%.
But there is playing conditions as well. Yeah.
Is that rule of the crooked line out being implemented? Where
I'm not sure.
If it's not 100% straight, they play on. Do you remember they came out with that with the 20-minute red? Is that actually being implemented?
I don't know. I'm actually not sure. I haven't seen it.
Joe Lyons should know. Maybe he'll tell us.
Yeah. Let's see. Joe Lyons again. Speak of the devil. We were on the 22, and the pyrotechnics was stopped with the wind, and it was blowing. The flames so much didn't come across on the TV, but swirling all over the place. But still no excuse. Claremont on their throw went short, says it all. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
playing,
You
that's
see-
playing the conditions, isn't it?
See,
Yeah.
Joe had the right place to sit. Berkey was freezing cold up the top, and Joe's there getting a bit of heat off the pyrotechnics. You know what I mean?
That's what you
There's a-
need in the
there's a
press box.
smart lad.
Pyrotechnics.
We'll all
Look,
club together and get them. You're them hand warmer. You're the hand warmer things. Well, you know the chemical
Yeah.
things. We'll all club together. We'll buy one of them for Burke for Christmas.
big
He's
things.
shoving on the old man.
Yeah.
He's shoving on the old. You can see it now. He getting a little bit frail right now with old age.
At least he'll keep
Yeah.
his point high now fucking warm as well, probably.
Well, actually, just something came into my head there, like what lads. While we're on Leinster, Tyke Furlong's wife had a baby girl last Wednesday. So
Hey!
congratulations to them.
Man, Ty, at least he knows it works.
I suppose we
Two
need
bag-
to have
two- It weighed
Yeah.
2 bags of spuds, by the way.
Yeah.
How big are we talking now?
Huh?
Are these the ordinary spuds or the orange spuds you're talking about?
Oh, no, the proper spuds.
They're not fucking
that's
Kerry
what- that's
Pinks
what-
anyway.
That's all right.
Golden Wonder.
Look, I suppose we're covering this one, otherwise James Grennan will be annoyed with us. Connacht 31, Perpignan 18. The second bonus point win for Connacht, this time away in France. Did any of you see it, the games?
Where the fuck is James Grennan when you need someone talking about an amazing victory for Connacht? Where the fuck is he?
He's down with man flu.
Man flew me whole. And he right
Yeah.
in there a second ago. I didn't see the game. I know nothing about it, but great result for Connacht. And where's James? Or we need someone to talk about about the Westies.
Richard, did you see any of the game or highlights or anything?
Only the highlights, but look, going to France and getting a victory of that magnitude is hard, even if it is, as you put it, a Mickey Mouse Cup, Danny. Look,
Joking
it's
in the
great
course.
for them. Oh yeah, joking. Look, two from two, so they're almost guaranteed now to come out of their pool, I'd imagine. So it's great for them, and it's onwards and upwards. I hope to go on a lot further in the competition. I didn't see the game, but yeah, it looked like a handy result.
They're getting a nice string of results coming in now, Connacht, aren't they? They're getting some.
Yeah, there's a nice consistency going on with them there now.
Yeah. Like it looks good for that Challenge Cup for them. I mean, the win in Perpignan is massive. It's so huge, especially for Connacht, because I doubt they've won much in France before.
Yeah.
You know, that's a massive victory for Connacht. I'm so delighted for them. I really am.
But the thing is the Challenge Cup Connacht's level at the moment in terms of getting that consistency?
I'll be honest. I think if you swapped Connacht and Ulster, you'd probably have the right way of doing things, because Ulster aren't performing and Connacht are. You know.
Yeah.
Whatever's going on, maybe. Joe Lyons, I think this is to do with the line out here. You're saying yes, it is, but the change is it's now got to be on the inside of the outside arm. But there were several times Leinster didn't contest and got pinned. There is no call by the defending team telling the ref they are not contesting. So it's at the discretion of the official, and they have not been good as of late.
The new laws aren't doing anything for the refs, really, are they? The line out.
No.
It seems to be making their job harder than easier.
And I actually do finally feel sorry for referees, because they're trying their best to implement them as well.
Yeah.
You know?
But being a referee, thankless job anyway. Go ahead, Richard.
To me, what needs to be enforced is the gap. We've seen it in the autumn internationals. Dad stepping in. That when I was playing, it was arm's length. That was the gap.
Yeah,
it's a meter, isn't it?
Yeah, a meter. So arm's length wouldn't be too far away from that. Like,
yeah,
you know, so you step in. But if you look at it now, there's barely a gap now. Barely a gap.
And fair enough. The ref has a lot to do. It's up to the fucking captain to take that to the attention.
Oh yeah.
Of the
or the hooker,
or the pack leader.
Hooker,
Yeah.
yeah. Hooker to
Yeah.
captain to
Yeah,
So
where's the
official.
gap? Where's the gap?
yeah. Where's the gap? So what Joe was saying here, if you don't contest it and it's crooked, you get to play on. If you do contest it and it's on the inside or the outside shoulder, it's okay.
Yeah. That's my understanding of it anyway, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm understanding from it as well.
But like, to be honest with you, I remember when I was playing with Clarny, we had one hooker with us. Oh, Hegarty was his name. And sometimes he'd be throwing the ball in, but he'd always be looking at the line out and stuff like that. And if you saw your team narrowing the gap, he'd literally just put the ball down and he'd walk onto the field and he'd look at maybe the assistant referee or the referee, and he goes, "You go do something. They're narrowing the gap." He wouldn't
Yeah.
throw the ball until that
Yeah.
was sorted out.
Yeah,
And brought the attention of the referee, and he would do it until the referee made sure the gap was stayed every time. Literally, ball down, walk onto the field, and Joe pointed to the gap, and the referee every time knew if he was throwing, if he spotted the gap being narrowed, there was going to be no throwing. So he just kept the team and said, "Gap, keep the gap."
yeah, but that's what I mean. It's up
Yeah.
to the players to bring it to the attention of the official. You can't
Yeah.
the official's job is so fucking hard now with every single little thing, and the
Yeah.
more moany supporters get, ourselves included, any little
Yeah.
discretion now, we're going nuts. Isn't that why the TMO was brought in the first place? Because of all the
Yeah,
little discretions and stuff.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's just you got to bring it to the attention. But even as you said there, Danny, there's a bit of rugby wisdom right there that the professional players don't seem to have. Just the little
Yeah.
things like that, the little smart things, like take
Yeah.
your point, tell the ref, do this, do that. It seems like professional players don't have these smarts.
But
No,
he's just
the other-
good. Yeah.
like the ref is
Sorry,
only one man. He is going to miss stuff as well.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Human error. That's why it's called human error.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we live and die by that. I
Yeah.
remember I was given the captaincy for one fucking game for the crack. And the lads are coming up to you. Sheedy, you need to tell them that this has happened. Sure, I've never been a captain before. I didn't know how to deal with a referee. And the lads are coming up, this is happening in the scrum. And I'm out in the back line at 12 going, all right, fair enough. Ref, this is happening in the scrum. Terrible captain. You got to have your players tell you what's going on so you can tell the ref.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to imagine Peter Burke as a captain. Jesus Christ.
That's five, ref.
That's right. No, a referee. I want to see Peter Buck as a referee.
Yeah,
That's what I want to see now.
you're in the side, you spoofer.
Yeah, come here, fuck no, stop it inside.
You can't do that. Yellow card, fuck off. But like one thing I would say, and we had one referee when we were doing a seconds game before, I think it was against the Ivray Eagles. And the referee came up to us, the two captains. I think our captain was our inside centre at the time. And he goes up to him and says, "Give me your pack leader." And he said that to the referee, says, "Give me your back leader." And he said,
Yeah,
the reason he wanted to do that, he said, "Huh?"
Yeah, we used to do that as well.
Yeah. And he went to talk to me and said, he goes to the two backs anyway and says, "If there's any issue with the backs, I'm coming to you." Brings up the two forward, if there's any issue with forwards, I'm coming to you two guys. That's it. So he
That's
said,
not a bad thing,
and he said that if there's any issues you have, with how I'm officiating certain things, you come to me. You're my four guys. But he said, keep in your lanes, if you know what I mean. So we had one or two issues where the pack leader's coming up and he says, "Look, offside here, gap at line out, all this sort of thing." He put his arm out and he said, "That's not a meter, or whatever it is." So I said, "There in the gap," all this sort of thing. Simple little things. But
I tell you
did
what,
that.
I tell you one
Great.
thing, lads. Any Connacht supporters have switched off now because we said fucking nothing about their game.
We said what we could have said, but what? You're great.
Mickey Mouse. There you go.
Mickey Mouse, yeah. This is a comment here. Why are we as a nation so obsessed with number 10 when the other teams are not? France, it's the 9-10. South Africa, it's the pack. New Zealand, it's the 6 and 7. And the centres. Don't know why we are so fixated on the out half role. Do you know what? I'd say to that. I don't know why we have to compare ourselves to other people.
I tell you part of the reason why I think that is the 10 role in rugby, the fly half, runs the game here, Joe, in the Irish
Yeah.
setup, right?
Yeah,
In France, it's the 9.
Yeah, it's 9 or 10. South Africa, everything goes through the pack. If the pack isn't doing great, the rest of the team don't do great.
But
Hence
that's why South African coaches don't work well in Europe, because they're everything's pack orientated, whereas we like a bit of both, really. But Everton, South Africa is the pack, and then it seems Everton, New Zealand, and Australia is the backs. Like forwards are expected to be backs now in Australia and New Zealand. I'm sick of these comparisons. I'm sick of using South Africa, New Zealand, and all these to compare to us. And why aren't we doing this? Let's just be ourselves.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It goes back to the fact that for 20 years we had Humphreys, O'Gara, and then Sexton.
Yeah, but we had Ollie Campbell, we Tony
We'd
Ward.
Ollie Campbell. We've always
had good tens.
Maybe that has something to do with that. It's in our psyche because we've always had a 10 or a 10.
Yeah, but
good 10.
If you look at the AIL as well, I mean, that's the way it is. It's all orientated around the 10 is your quarterback and he controls the fucking game.
Yeah, he controls the play.
Yeah, it's the way we've always been in this country.
Yeah, it's the way it is. But lads, I suppose we'll wrap it up for this week. Hopefully you'll be around you might be around next Monday night because we'll be covering the Interpros then. It might be a much shorter video, maybe only half an hour long. We might do that to cover.
We've Ulster and Ravenhill, don't we?
Yeah, and Leinster are going to Connacht, are they?
Yeah, it's Munster making the trip to Belfast to face Ulster, and I think Connacht go to Leinster then. Yeah.
Oh, so this is back-to-back Interpros now. Lovely stuff.
Yeah. Christmas Interpros, yeah. So
yeah. Are you going to talk, lads?
Unfortunately not, I'm afraid.
No, my wife's birthday falls over Christmas, so that kind of fucks that for me.
My missus' birthday is the 23rd, God bless her.
Well, mine is the 26th.
But Jesus.
So the match is the 27th.
I know, but I'll actually be able to sit down and have a pint and watch it this year.
Lads, I'll tell you what, I'll say goodbye.
Goodbye. Mike, you as well, sir.
I have Christmas Eve as well, Mike. And lads, until next week, and next time we cross paths, take care.
God bless.
Good luck, gents.
Take care. Night.
Take it easy. God bless. Good luck.
Take care.